I'm not big on trying, because do you try to run 100 miles or do you prepare to run 100 miles? What's up, peeps? Put together a little makeshift area. Got a little area in the living room, right? We talked about that before putting the area together. Now, like, what is it? What else do we need to do? That right there, right? Making sure that we have some dedicated time, that we don't have the child in the background screaming on top of us alarms. It's dinner time. He's about to eat. He goes crazy for food. But we know that, right? So that's a good thing, Along this manifestation journey, we can also figure out, like, what are the things that we can correct? Like, squeaky chair. We need a new chair. Of course, we gotta get a new camera. We on the phone, even though it looks pretty good. It looks decent to me. But, gotta make sure that we have everything in line. If we're gonna do something, we're gonna do something serious. We gotta make sure that everything's in line properly, right? So we got a little light over here, making sure that we can see me. But like I said, we wanna make sure that we have all our resources, things that we need to make sure that this thing goes properly. So I figure what we're gonna do is make sure that we gather enough information on the YouTube sphere, because like I said, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm not a trier. This is trying, right? And trying is a prerequisite to failure in my eyes. Anything you try, you're gonna fail. And why? Because trying is saying that I'm not prepared, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And, I'm not big on trying, because do you try to run 100 miles or do you prepare to run 100 miles? And this journey that we're going on is a 100-mile journey. So we have to prepare properly. Proper preparation is the key to success. That's not just an old adage or a cliche. That's true, So we're going to add the information to our preparation, and our preparation will lead to our transformation. And that's going to be that manifestation. I'm not a rapper. I just rhyme. But that's what we're going to do. So right now we can see all of the things that we need to change. I feel the squeaky chair, got my loud son in the background. The lighting's not your greatest. I'm on a camera phone. I'm on my iPhone. What do we need? Gather that information. Let's gather that necessary information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch a couple videos on YouTube of professionals, people who have already been doing this. We don't need to recreate the wheel. We just need to find a framework that works, use that framework, and then put our stuff on top of that framework so we can manifest what we want into reality. It's not that hard. It's a process, but it's about staying consistent and being on that process. Dedicating yourself to what you say you want to do, making sure that everything is in alignment. You can't just think something and then think it's going to happen, or you can't just think it, then speak it, and think that that's how it's going to happen. You can't speak anything into existence. I don't care what anybody says. You don't speak things into existence. You speak yourself into alignment, right? And that's what we're going to do. That's part of our manifestation journey, is speaking ourselves into alignment. And that's by, being very specific about what it is that we want to do, and then getting to work. So the work that we're going to do now is watching some videos, gathering some necessary information that's dealing with some research. We're going to do some research. We're going to study it, and we're going to see what we need. And then we're going to gather our materials, or see what our resources are, and we'll go from there. All right? It's not that hard. But in the meantime, right now, let's get on one of the topics, because this is not just showing you guys how to manifest a successful YouTube page. The YouTube page actually has content that we're going to be talking about, right? So, and that content is things that I wish someone would have told me, and I wish somebody would have told me how to put together a YouTube page, but it's all good and gravy. We don't need that, because we can gather our own information. This is the information era, so it's free. You don't even have to go to school for a lot of the things that you want to do. You can just research it. I got several mentors that don't even know me. Why? Because I watch them on YouTube. I watch a few different people, and that help me throughout what I'm trying to do in my life. and make sure that I got the necessary information that I can add to myself and put that together, put it on top of that framework and make it work for myself. And I do that all the time in life, you know? So that's one of the things that I wish somebody would have told me is that, hey, you don't have to go to school for everything. Information is what you're looking for. That knowledge is what you're looking for. But it's like this whole network is based off of KUA, knowledge, understanding, and awareness. And it's not enough to just know something, but you got to understand it. And then you have to be aware of when, where, how, and why to apply it. That's what we want to do. We want to gather that knowledge, understand it better, and be aware of when and where, how to, and why to apply it. So that's what I wish somebody would have told me is exactly what KUA was. But KUA wasn't in existence until I came along. I mean, it was in existence, but it wasn't put together like this. So, and let me not take credit for that. GTTMH, anytime I feel like I'm doing something that I want to take claim of. GTTMH, and that means glory to the Most High. Thank the Most High for putting everything together and making sure that I have the necessary resources to do this right here. And hopefully somebody can gain something out of what I'm doing right now, because that's the whole purpose of it. If I wasn't helping anybody with it, I wouldn't do it, because that's what my whole alignment is. It's making sure that I can help others. I feel like that's the fulfillment of your purpose, is when you can use the things that you can do well and you can become successful at it, and then you can help others with it. That is the fulfillment of, that is identity, figuring out your identity, and then fulfilling your purpose as a whole. And for me, I don't know what anybody else's estimation of life is, but for me, that's it. Finding your identity, fulfilling your purpose, so that's definitely what I'm all about. If you want to know anything about me, Tahid Spence, born in Jamaica, grew up in Detroit, Michigan, moved to Huntsville, Alabama. Been through a lot in my life, a lot of dark places. We've been through a couple of accidents where I bumped my head, literally. So that's where my manifestation journey started, and my mindfulness, mental wellness journey is because, I suffered some head injuries and had to work my way back to my mental stability, making sure that my moods are intact, making sure that my mental wellness is intact always. So I'm always studying and researching and practicing and making sure that I'm on point with what I'm doing so that I can help others with that. And anybody that's ever been in any situation that I've been in, man, come holler at me, talk to me. I got you, bro. I got you, sis. You know what I mean? I'll sit there and listen to you, and I don't give advice. Let me get that out the way right there. I don't give advice, I give perspective, So I would love to share my perspective with you, but you got to make your own choices. But I hope that your choices lead to really good decisions, and that comes from gathering enough information so you can make wise decisions for yourself. So if you need some help, come on, holler at me. We'll be back on this page again. We'll be back here. Later on, probably do another video later on. Like I said, this is the beginning though, we just making sure we're intact, putting some stuff out there, and then, we're going to gather some more information, see what I need, how I'm going to gather the resources to get that. And I'll show you how I do that as well. I'm not a millionaire yet, not today, but I know how to gather resources and sacrifice for what I need. So I know the ultimate sacrifice is always time, right? Time is always the ultimate sacrifice. And you can see me moving my eyes back and forth too, because like I said, I'm not even used to doing this. So I'm gonna make sure I keep my eyes on the prize. I need to put a little sticker there, say prize right there anyway, so I can stay focused and make sure I'm looking directly at you and seeing and staying on point on that. Practice, baby, practice. Yeah, practice develops skill, and I'm going to practice not until I get it right, but practice till I can't get it wrong, because that's how you practice for real. But until next time, I'll see you guys later. I'm always here for you. Peace.